Greece and Norse mythology, they are not adept. But Sarah, she will research, and Paul, he must accept. Yggdrasil is a glorious word, crush a whole mountain. Well, Thor's hammer could. These fables are bizarre, but good. It's misunderstood.
By me, why won't you stood by me?
Oh, that was beautiful.
Thank you. I didn't know what to do.
It was the wrong choice, but you did it.
I did.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Myth Understood, a mythology and comedy podcast. And before we get into either of those things, we want to talk about current events. And
yeah, events are certainly current.
Yeah. So just to lead us off here, we'd like to make a statement about things that are going on. And, there have been a few comments in our reviews that express displeasure with any time we stray away from mythology and make any commentary jokes from a political vantage point. But given the state of the world, given that we are currently recording this at an earlier time in the day so that we can return home for a government-mandated curfew, which we'll even now miss. They just updated to 6 p.m.
Yeah, there's helicopters in the sky as we speak.
We thought we should say a few things before we talk about the predicted fall of the North deities.
Yeah, if it's not clear to you at this point when you're listening to this podcast, Sarah and I have views that align with progressive ideals. We believe that racism is a systematic problem in our country and the entire world. We support Black people, POCs, the LGBTQ communities.
We believe in the pervasiveness of white fragility, supremacy, police brutality, homophobia, and toxic masculinity. We're feminists and we are liberal. Our beliefs are our own, and they stem from values rooted in empathy.
That's right. They're not like buzzwords that are just like popular and that we should use. Like, these are our real beliefs.
Yeah.
If you've come just for the mythology, I want you to consider this as someone who I love mythology. I've been drawn to it my entire life. Mythology began as a reflection of the world to ancient people. The word revolution itself was forged in Greek roots. They saw a relationship between rebellion and circles. The reaction of the oppressed destroys an old circle so that you can create something new. So that's sort of our feelings in a nutshell without getting too into it. But it sort of puts a timestamp on this episode. But I think every episode we have a little bit of a timestamp because we can't help but talk about current events when we are reflecting on the nature of mythology and how it relates to our current world.
And mythology, really, that was the point of it, to make sense of the things that they couldn't explain going on. Just to say, well, we must be angering someone up in the sky, or there must be a reason for these things. But, we have hopefully grown in the past several thousand years.
Yeah, you'd think so in some ways.
And now we can say, the things that are happen are man-made constructs, and therefore they can only be deconstructed by women.
Well, and perhaps as like sort of proof to this, I had looked up a quote of Aristotle earlier that I currently can't find. I don't have his quotes memorized, but he said a lot of things about revolution. He said a lot of things about what people do at the mercy of tyrants. He said a lot of really incredible things about revolution, but at the same time, he also thought that people had, like, some people deserved to be slaves, and that women were monstrous, warped versions of men. So,
right, and I think we even should include the discussion you had of like, should I bring this up? Well, no, because he believed in slavery, and I think it, like we said, all things in their own timestamp are contextualized. It's like, no, he could have said something smart back then and then still been so wrong about so many other things.
Yeah.
And that hopefully is the journey of mankind, to look back and say, oh, our founding fathers created a better government, but they were still so fucking flawed, and we can always do better. We can always create a better world. And, as we look back at these myths, and as sometimes we we cringe or sometimes we make fun of him. I think we just want to let you guys out there know, like, this show is for you, and feel not just entertained, but feel safe in this little hour that we share together. And that's really the statement I wanted to make, and I think that's what you wanted to make.
Yeah, is that was part of your statement today, Sarah, promising an hour-long episode?
Oh, bitch. It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Okay.
So can you catch us up where we left off?
Oh, my.
Do you have any memory?
It sort of feels like it's been a year since we last
Every
recorded.
fucking day feels like it's been a year since I went to sleep.
Gosh. Balder died.
That was
and
2 episodes ago.
That was 2 episodes ago. And
but it does all have to do with this, yes.
Yeah, and it was setting up the prophecy of the Ragnarok that that Balder would die, and that and Loki Loki's just had enough.
Yeah, he went into the grand hall of air.
Yeah, he told everyone about how everyone's been sleeping with
Everyone's a slut or a pervert.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you're a pervert, Odin, because you do witchcraft. That's nasty.
Yeah, it's sort of an interesting thing because I feel like in the comics of like the Avengers and Thor and all that, they sort of paint Loki as like this like child of the giants, and how he's like, I'm tired of the Asgardian gods treating the giants really bad. And I sort of thought that would be like the angle that he would come from in his anger at the gods, but instead he came at the like, you're all sluts.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're all fucking sluts.
Which is a reason for war.
It is. They're gonna get him back.
Yeah.
They're gonna get him back real good. So
for
today,
one drunken night, really.
Well, he also killed their actual favorite person.
Yeah, but who cares?
He was best smile and most likely to succeed. So can you even?
Oh, I mean, that was wrong. Most likely to succeed.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the end of the Lokasana, and then it's going to lead into the next lith.
The
Loki
next
myth.
The next lisp. Starring Sarah Oliver.
On Hallmark. So this is when Thor gets back. Thor has not been in that hall the entire time. But someone, this little guy tells this little guy, Loki's stirring shit up, and Thor's like, pom, 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 coming home.
I don't know why when you just did this little guy tells this little guy, it reminded me of the Greek myths about remember King Midas, and he got the ears of an ass put on his head by Apollo.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said no one tell anyone, but then someone had to whisper it to someone. It was one of, that's very vague. I just said someone like 6 times. There was a servant of King Midas who knew that it was his barber, and he knew that Midas had the ears of an ass, and he just couldn't keep the secret in anymore. So he told it to the ground, and then it like tremored through the ground.
Yeah.
And then the reeds grew up, and then when the wind blew through the reeds, it was Midas has the ears of an ass. Like, so that's what I'm imagining.
This exact same thing happens. It gets back to Thor. And Thor rolls up in the hall, and immediately, you know how Loki was going, you shut up. You shut up. Here's what's happening.
Right, because
Finally,
Thor wasn't there yet. Yeah.
Thor rolls up and is like, no, you shut up.
On his moped.
Yeah. On it. What are the you can see what I'm doing.
Scooters?
No, the ones that people stand on.
Segway?
There you go. Thor's Segway. The only way he could ride the Bifrost Rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, no, you be silent, evil creature. And he told him, like, otherwise, my hammer's going to give it to you.
I love that song.
Saying that he's going to hammer his head from his shoulders. So he means business. Loki's like, oh, hey, pal. Why are you so mad? you're not going to be, so bold to fight against the wolf when he swallows your dad at Ragnarok. Because, all of this stuff is prophesized.
Yeah.
And Thor, again, is like, seriously, dude, you need to shut the fuck up. And threatens him with the hammer again, adding that he will throw Loki up on the roads to the east, and thereafter no one will even be able to see Loki. He's like, I'm going to hit you. Basically, I'm going to knock you into next Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's where the roads to the east are found?
Next Tuesday.
Okay.
Loki states that Thor shouldn't brag about his journey to the east, and that there Thor crouched cowering in the thumb of the glove. Do you remember this story?
Yeah.
The giant?
How did they fit in the glove?
Mockingly referring to him as a hero and adding that, being such a coward in that little glove was not very becoming to Thor. So now he's like, I've been on all the adventures with you. I know you're little bitch shit. Which is probably the wrong person to be pointing and yelling at. Again, he's like, for a third time, you need to shut the hell up. I'm going to break every single bone in your body with my hammer. Seriously.
Are his goats like, ooh, in the background?
Yeah. And
Okay.
then one falls because he doesn't have a bone.
I thought because he's a fainting goat.
He's a fainting goat. That's better than what I said. So then Loki's like, I'm going to live for a long time. It doesn't matter what you say. And then he taunts Thor about the time he had with Skymir, the giant.
Oh.
And who is Utgor Loki. Remember, he's like, yeah, remember when that other Loki made you look like a little dum-dum? You couldn't even pick up a cat, you bitch.
Right, yeah.
Thor, for a fourth time, is like, I'm going to get you with my hammer if you don't shut up.
See, that's sort of the thing, is that he keeps threatening it, and I feel like at this point he should just do it.
Yeah, I know. And he's like, I'm going to send you to your daughter in hell, in the underworld.
That's a lot of restraint from Thor so far.
You have to remember, Loki, they go back and forth. He's an annoyance, but then he's an incredible help, and he's really entertaining. Remember, like, the thing Loki did with tying his ball sack to a goat? You're like, he's a fun guy.
Yeah.
Do I want to lose my best, worst frat buddy is basically what they're dealing with here.
God, so many people are dealing with that.
So in response to Thor, Loki says that he spoke before the Aesir and before the sons of the Aesir, and he said what his spirit urged him not to say. But yet before Thor alone, he will leave, as he know that Thor will strike him. So
who's he? Loki?
Yeah, Loki's like, I'll fuck off.
Uh-huh.
And then this is the final stanza in the Lokasana. Ale you brood, Aer, and you will never again hold a feast. All your possessions, which are here inside, may flame play over them, and may your back be burnt.
Oh, so he leaves very, like,
Maleficent.
Maleficent, yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah,
exactly.
He leaves with a curse. He or Mercutio, a plague on both your houses.
Yeah, basically. And so he pieces off, and Thor, I think Thor's really the last one who was torn about what to do with him at all, because for so long Loki had been, such a headache to the gods. But it was really they and then there they all are. So they're like, well, let's think about this. Balder just died, and we know he had something to do with it. And he also made it so we couldn't bring Balder back until the end of the cosmos. So that's the worst.
Right, because of the person that was Loki in disguise that didn't shed a tear.
Yeah, so it's not only that he killed their favorite god, he then God blocked him from coming back.
Right.
And then they're like, and then on top of everything, he slut-shamed everybody, including your wife, Thor. So
that's really the lowest of the offenses, though. Is that on top of everything or below everything?
It's the last straw.
Uh-huh.
It's the last straw, because they were already like, that's the reason there was like tension there in the first place.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, it's time to deal with Loki. they all decided as I guess they finish off their last bit of beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's time to get this guy and shut him up at least semi-permanently. So Loki pretty much knew this, and he fled Asgard. He went to the peak of a very high mountain, and he made a house for himself. Now, think about a perfect house so you could look out on the peak of a mountain and see if anyone's coming for you. How would you build it, Paul?
Oh, well,
Create in The Sims and or Animal Crossing.
I would well, depending on the shape of the mountain, of course, but I would probably there would probably be windows. There would likely be ramparts so that you can stand atop the walls and look out. Probably 3 towers. I'd want some additional height.
So Loki, he's a god of mischief, not really the god of architecture. He created a home on this peak of a mountain that were just 4 walls and 4 doors, so he could look out from every way. Why a door? That just seems like more busy work than anything. You shut one door, you open the other.
So no windows, but 4 doors.
4 doors.
Are they all? I hope they're all different, like like door, like
A French door,
like a Japanese like sliding rice door,
Yes.
rice paper door, like Dutch colonial,
an elevator door.
Oh, an elevator
that goes to nowhere.
Yeah.
So he, I guess,
and
was
the
just
walls are made out of glass though.
He's just constantly running around all day opening doors. It's like the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Maybe they have peepholes.
Okay. Is that helpful? So by day, because he was right over this little lake waterfall area.
Oh, gorgeous.
It was nice. It was great. It was a great land deal. He should have hired a contractor. So by day, he turned himself into a salmon and swam around. So he was like, they're not going to find me. I'm a little fishy fish.
Angela, you're not going to believe who bought the mountain property.
Who bought that lot? Who bought the lot?
Well, when he bought the lot, he was a salmon, but he told me he was Loki, the trickster god.
Loki got the lot?
Loki got the lot. It has 4 doors. Who would want that?
The lot I've always sought?
The lot you've always sought, had you not forgot. Stupid.
We're worthless. So, and at night, he sat by the fire and he weaved a fishing net because I guess at some point, not being a fish, at some point he was fishing for fish.
Okay.
So he's just like, I don't know. I'll make a net and I'll be fishing. But Odin, obviously, Mr. Rune Boy, he could see where Loki was, and he sent some of his pals. And he's like, gods, go get this dumbass sitting by a waterfall with a house of 4 doors. And Loki was looking out the right peephole at the right time. He saw them approaching, and
So it did work out for him then.
I guess then he threw the net that he was making into his fire. So he like destroyed his one crochet arts and crafts project, and then he turned into a salmon and jumped in the water. So the gods ran in and they were like, hoo, 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 and they grabbed the twine just in time.
Wait, what does hoo mean?
You know, they're like putting out the fire
on
the net. And they grabbed it, and
did he also leave
it.
a bag of burning poo underneath it?
Yeah. One of the gods stomped that out. That was Thor. He was extra mad.
Yeah.
And they put the net into the stream and they kept trying to drag it, but Loki, being a smart little salmon, kept jumping upstream, swimming against.
Oh, it's mating season.
Which is where salmon even got the idea. They got it from Loki, obviously.
Is that part of the myth?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So they kept casting it and they kept trying to pull, and he just would get away, you know. And at last,
can I tell you something really random? I'm gonna. So in Skyrim, the video game, when you're wandering around as your character, then there are streams. There are little waterfalls, and you'll see salmon jumping up the stream.
Mm-hmm.
And if you catch those salmon, they're the only salmon in the game that have eggs on them, salmon eggs on them, because if they're jumping upstream, they're mating, which is like a very specific detail.
That is a very cute little detail.
Yeah.
Well, this salmon jumps so upstream, he starts to climb the waterfall. He starts to try to swim up because he's like, oh, if I can get out to open sea, then I'm free. Because he also, while you're shape-shifting and you're being in the water, for some reason, he can't shape-shift back.
That's an odd limitation.
Yeah, like he couldn't turn into an eagle as a fish in the water.
Oh, well, that'd be a bad idea.
Yeah. So he's like, I gotta get out of here so I can turn into something else.
Mhm.
So he's trying to go up and up and up. And finally, Thor got him with the net,
Oh.
which has got to be really, like, not just emasculating. It's pretty humiliating. Be caught as a fish by a big giant Thor.
Yeah.
So he was slapping around, and Thor grabbed him by his little tail fins and was like, "You stupid idiot!" But also, him grabbing him by his tail fins is why salmon are supposed to have very slender tails, apparently.
How does he know it's Loki the salmon?
I think
and not just another salmon?
someone saw him jump
Okay.
out of the house.
Or was Loki the first salmon, and thus
No.
no?
No.
Okay.
So Loki, they turned him. They got back into his regular form, and they took him to a cave.
Oh, this sounds like some mob shit.
Oh, just you wait. So then they brought in, he probably, like, you're thinking like he's tied up to a chair. They brought in his two sons.
Did they give him some cement shoes?
They go, yeah, we're gonna make you swim with the fishes, but not in the way you were just swimming with the fishes. So they brought in his two sons, and they're like, oh, hey, we're like sort of god dudes on, in
What are
Asgard.
What are Loki's sons' names again? Hokey and Pokey.
Hokey and Pokey. I don't have it written down here, but I could find that. But they're the sons he had with his wife Sig.
Okay.
Yeah. So they brought in the two sons, and they turned one of them into a wolf.
Okay.
And he right away was like, I'm a wolf, and he ate his brother.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they made Loki watch
Mhm.
one of his sons eat the other.
It gets worse. So not only that, but he had entrails of the son all around the floor. Because
Oh.
the wolf was like, I'm not going to eat guts. And
Was Loki emotionally affected by that?
well, I don't think he had time because this all happens very fast.
Okay.
They then tied him up on these rocks in the cave with the entrails of his son.
Oh.
And they turned those into iron chains somehow.
They turned the entrails into iron chains.
Mhm.
So these are chains made from your son's entrails.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Which has got to hurt. Skady placed a poisonous snake on a rock above his head where it dripped venom. Okay, so he's chained
they
up on a rock.
started like waterboarding him,
Basically.
but with poison.
Yes.
Okay.
So this venom, like, it just like drip, drip, drip out of
More
this.
annoying than anything.
Yeah, the noise more than the burning.
And how did they
sensation.
find that snake? Like it's like I have a cold.
It's like, yeah. But his wife, Sig, she sat by his side with a bowl, and she held it under the snake's mouth, and she just sat holding it,
Oh,
catching all of the venom.
that's
But
like a survivor challenge.
Yeah. But, and they were like, are you sure that you want to do this like forever? Because we're leaving him here. And she was just like, yeah, like, I'm one of you. I'm a god, but I love my husband still. So they're like, okay, I mean, we killed your kids. I guess you can hang out here.
They're not worried that she'll break the chains or move the snake?
No.
Okay.
She's a woman. So she holds a bowl over his head, and it drips. And once it fills, she has to go and empty it out.
Uh-huh.
And so anytime she goes to empty it out and it drips on Loki, they say that's when you feel earthquakes. Him being like, ah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then she goes up, and like that's
Oh, does that mean that this is where we leave Loki?
this is where we leave Loki until Ragnarok.
Whoa. Okay.
Yep. So a woman's chore is
Never chorn. So wait, so that's interesting. So Ragnarok is a future that is foretold by the Norse,
It is foretold by the fates. Yes.
by the fates.
Yes.
And
They're like, it's going to happen, and we know that it's going to happen, and here's a couple of things that will happen. And they always knew that the death of Balder and, what else was it? The death of Balder. Oh, and then a big long winter, which has not come yet.
I guess it's sort of like, this is an honest, silly thought that I had, that like Norse mythology has a beginning, middle, and end told in like a past tense point of view, but clearly it's not, because that was the religion of Norse people, and so like they would be thinking about Ragnarok in the future.
Yeah, and for the Vikings, it meant like, hey, don't worry about it, because eventually even the gods die.
Yeah,
And like when you die in this battle, you'll get to go and live in Valhalla, and the Valkyrie will pick you out, and they'll take you up, and you'll get to feast, and you'll get to be drunk, and then one day you're called to this epic battle with to fight on the side of the gods, and eventually everything ends. But that's the next episode.
Oh, that sounds like a really good way to like try to control people into like making them be soldiers for you.
Well, it's like, I don't know if it's control back then. Maybe it started that way, but it's also like a way to feel better about only getting to live to be like 19.
Yeah.
Like it just kind of was where they lived in such harsh, scary, war-y existence. But I know Vikings definitely were, like, let's go out there and try to live somewhere else by conquering.
I really like Eric, but I don't know if I should date him. He's 19, so old. Old man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey there, Sonny. Do you want to hurt someone real bad?
Yeah, what store is this?
I am Rasbin, and I own the torture device warehouse for creatives.
Wow, I'm a creative. I'm an illustrator.
Oh, that's so great. And you must be an architect. I see there you have blueprints for a house full of doors.
I do it all.
There's doors on the roof?
I really, I love doors, and I just don't think
What's a trapdoor?
I don't. It's a door with a false bottom. But anyway, there's windows with like windows are just out of season right now. But you don't want to hear about me.
No,
this is your
the
commercial.
house that you are creating sounds like torture in itself. Would you like to feel it with more creative torture?
Well, I don't know. I just like doors. But sell me on your weird shit.
Okay. Well, you come to my warehouse, and I help you turn any sun into a gold chain.
Any sun?
Anyone's sun.
Like the sun that's in the sky?
Anyone's spawn, male spawn, into a gold or silver or iron chain.
Well, that sounds awesome. What do you have to do? I have my son right here.
Oh, it's really easy. You turn that other guy into a wolf, and then he rips him open.
Oh my God, my son. Well, I didn't care about him that much.
And now you have a gold chain to wear on your neck.
That's beautiful. Wait, how is this torture?
It was for the kids.
Oh, yeah. My son really didn't like that.
No, he's dead. And I have got lots of other ideas here. I have the snakes.
Okay.
And they have a bad cold, so they're always dripping.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, look at them. They're just dripping, what is that, green fluid all over the ground?
Yes. And I have these mice, and their poops are explosive.
Explosive poop mice?
Yeah.
Wow, don't tell the gods about that one.
No. What's your favorite animal?
Oh, I'm a huge fan of giraffes.
Giraffes?
Yeah.
I have giraffe. If you snap his neck in half, it's a glow stick.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
That's torture for him.
For him.
Yeah, that doesn't feel good.
Well, I must say, this is a very creative place.
Yeah. Anything else you want to see here? I got a whole warehouse. You see.
Where's your bathroom?
Oh yeah, that's a torture toilet.
Oh wait, how is it torturing me?
It always has splash up.
Oh, that's the worst.
Time, I know.
All right, I'm gonna go somewhere else then.
That doorknob's a torture doorknob.
Oh, you're silly.
I'm a prankster.
Oh boy. Well, Sarah, thank you for teaching me about the torture and end of Loki.
Binding of Loki.
The Binding of Loki. Is that what we're calling it?
That's what it's called.
Okay.
If you want to do things right for once in your fucking life.
I sure do. And you know what? This is it's really nice every time we record this podcast together, because I get to hang out with you, my best friend, and we get to make jokes about silly things from the past and momentarily forget our present.
We get to momentarily forget that we are living in our own Ragnarok.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah, guys. Hey, again, just know we are going through this stuff with you. I know we laugh, but this is the best part of our month, basically, getting to record this for you. Otherwise, we are painfully scrolling through Twitter and watching the news.
Speaking of painfully scrolling through Twitter,
yeah,
if you want to follow us and be sad on social media with us, you can find us at the Sarah Oliver and the Paul Bianchi individually. And you can also find us at _mythunderstood across social media. And you can find our great podcast network at It's Dragon Wagon on social media as well.
And, we've been trying to stay on top of our Patreon.
Gosh,
so,
yeah, I feel very bad about that.
Well, we aren't allowed to get together that often.
Yeah.
So we are, going to add some more stuff to the Patreon. And
you always say that very weird.
No, I am very, very German, as you hear.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is my Australian accent.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to support us there, if not, we know times are hard financially. So just say hi. And if you want to support us, just leave us an Apple iTunes review, because we like the good ones.
Yeah. And honestly, like there's so many other things to send money out to right now that are also
true.
important.
That's absolutely true. Everyone hang in there. Know that we love you and we appreciate you, and we hope we made a couple minutes of your day a little brighter.
A couple minutes. 5 minutes.
Well, they turned it off right in the beginning.
All right. Night-night.
Night-night.
Hey there, Mythfits. This is producer of the show, Jake Lloyd here, co-founder of Dragon Wagon Radio. I just wanted to take a quick moment to tell you about my debut feature film, Pinch. Pinch is a story of two strangers brought together by the chance to own a rare and valuable sports collectible, but to do so, they're tasked with stepping out of their comfort zones and onto a baseball field. It's a story about love, family, how we define success, and how sometimes it's hard to look beyond our own insecurities. I made Pinch with no budget, no crew, just a ton of heart, and I am thrilled to finally share it with you. You can rent or buy it digitally on Amazon or watch for free on Prime Video. Visit pinchmovie.com and follow @pinchmovie on Instagram for more info on this charming little movie that means the world to me. Thank you so much for listening to Dragon Wagon Radio and Myth Understood. I appreciate your time. Now let's hear that awesome little network stinger that comes at the end of each and every show. Hey, the voice on that little network stinger, that's Tony Wayne, star of Pinch, now on Amazon. See what I did there? Okay, bye. I love you. Thank you so much. Pinchmovie.com.
It's Dragon Wagon.